Today we're talking about eBay's just announced changes to returns under managed payments. Hey, it's Don. Today we're going to talk about eBay's new return policies that they have announced for managed payments going forward. Now, before we delve into this, I wanted to address the issue of not accepting returns at all. Now, I know some people have high return rates, maybe because of how items are listed or the items you're selling in general. I'm not trying to get into specifics, but not having a return option really doesn't protect you on eBay. If someone opens a case not as described and you have it set to no returns whatsoever, if it's not as described through eBay, you are forced to take that return no matter what. Nothing you say or do, none of your policies that are set can void that. You will have to take it back if it wasn't described properly. So even if you have that no returns option, you still have to take the item back. And with that option, with the no returns option, if someone does return it, they can leave you negative feedback, further hindering and hurting your account, your feedback rating. Now, what we do, and what I personally recommend, is we do free returns on everything. We also do a 30-day free return with that. So they can send an item back, a buyer, for 30 days on us. Obviously, if there's any issues or anything like that wrong with it, of course. No issues. Once they open up a return, I can't get negative feedback from them as long as I follow everything I'm supposed to do. If it's returned in the same condition, I refund them. I am free and clear. They can't do anything feedback-wise. To me, feedback is essential, so that is why I do that. Now, I know there's people saying I get 3, 4, 5 returns a month, and I know that seems high to some folks if I had a return policy like you have. Now, for me, I barely get a return. I may only have 2 or 3 for the entire year. It may just be some simpleton mistake, and some of those are mistakes. The person just didn't like it when he got it. Usually in those cases, they pay for the return shipping to us. We refund them the full cost of the item and the initial shipping that went out. So you're going to lose something in those cases, but I sell enough that it doesn't really matter. It's such a minuscule amount of business money that I don't really care. I don't even see it. And in those cases, how it's been done, many of those that are opened returns, eBay will automatically accept them. Now, you'll see a notice the return has been accepted, and then you got to go in, and some cases you'll have to look at it and further accept and give them the return label if that's how you're doing it. It depends, again, how you're set up on your return policy. Let's hop over now and look at the email they sent out talking about the change. Now, here's the first email that came out. Talks about new features for managed payment sellers. One of them on here is the ZIFs. Zero insertion fees, the increases that they're giving away with managed payments. Again, we already know all this. This comes well after the fact for anybody who's pretty much on the entire site, because you'll see them in your stores already. Now, the new financing options here has also been added. Now, these are options where you can get a loan through them, kind of like the PayPal loan that you could have, where it comes out of your payments month by month if you do something along that line. And down at the bottom, updates to how refunds, claims, and disputes are funded. Now, this is just talking about funding for refunds and things like that. Now, I set my payouts through eBay's managed payments, so once a week a payment is sent to me. That's it, just once a week. It's initially always set for everybody to every day. You can go in and change it. If it's every day and you don't have enough coming in, you got to give a refund. It's going to be pulled from your bank, basically, is what this is saying here. Your linked bank account. This is why you have to have one. PayPal required one too, so it's no different than what you did with PayPal. It's the same basic everything you had with PayPal, other than the payout structure can be different. Now, there's holds on PayPal when you first get some accounts, so it's probably similar to what you originally would have had when you first start out on PayPal, or even when you're on eBay with limits and things like that. And then they also have, starting September 14th, there's a Streamline return process. Now, a day after this email was sent out, they sent another one for corrections and updates to the Streamline returns process. The link that they supplied in their own email that they sent to everybody was a dead link. They sent the wrong information out, so they had to correct it right off the bat in here. This goes into more detail anyway, so it's got a little more information here. The link's up here at the very top where you can read all about what's going on. Basically, it's stating that most returns are going to be automatically accepted and a return label will automatically be made available to the buyer. So you won't even hear anything about it until it is actually done. So basically, somebody opens up a return and they'll immediately be able to get a label to send the item back right away. It's already been accepted. You'll get an email stating someone opened up a return. You can then go in and look at it. There'll be a reason they have to type that in there as well. It's not a huge change from how it is already for most of you, depending on how your return policy is set. Again, we have free returns for 30 days, which is my honest recommendation. I do strive to get the best feedback possible, and that is a way to help you also. So if somebody does have an issue, they want a refund, they have to open up the return to get the refund. The minute they open up the return, then they can't leave you negative feedback. So it does save you. Now with the process too, once the item is returned, you have 2 business days to give them a refund. If you do not do it within 2 business days, eBay will automatically do it. But here's the kicker here. They're not going to give you a ding to your seller account. It will not affect your seller account. They're just going to handle the process. Now, this way, again, they'll automatically give the money back, so no one has to wait on a buyer trying to go back and forth on the issue. Now, I did state there's some good and there's some bad with it. Now, in cases where the buyer has remorse return outside of the specified return window, so you got a 30-day window, they want to do it 35 days, there are some other stipulations. Or a returned item arrives damaged or missing parts or pieces, eBay will not automatically accept the return request. And you will have the opportunity to review and approve the return and handle the issues directly with the buyer. Now, again, this is a little bit questionable on what they're meaning on this, because all someone has to do is open up an item not as described, and immediately from what I've seen from my experience having returns is that eBay automatically allows them to do that. So again, I don't know how you're going to know it's missing parts until it actually shows back up. The minute it shows back up, you only got 2 days, 2 business days to do something about it. So I guess at that point, from what they say, you'd have to then escalate it to eBay and address the issues. Again, if you don't have proof, you don't have video, you don't have anything to show that the item was altered from what you sent, it's going to be a hard case to win on something like this. Good side, though, at least, once any of these situations happen, they can't leave you feedback either way. Now, one thing, again, like switching items, I've got a video up here literally talking about the worst scam, which is somebody switching an item and sending you the wrong item back so they can keep the good item and send you some junk. Again, watch the video if you're interested on that one. That was the hardest one to beat. There's no answer for that in here on those. Again, how are you going to know until the item shows back up that it's missing pieces or anything else like that? So how's eBay going to know to close it within 2 days or not close it within 2 days unless you say, hey, there's something going on? So again, either way, you're going to have to track it. You're going to have to look at what comes back and address it from there. If it's not the same item, you then contact eBay and keep any type of proof you can. Now, if you pay attention and you handle this correctly, we've won, I think, every one of the cases we've ever had an issue with in the past, say, 4 years or so. We've lost some too, but it's been a long time. We're very diligent with what we do. Playing it safe is obviously the best bet. I've had other people say they put insurance on it, so if something happens or it's damaged and it arrives, they can do something about it. If the item was switched, that insurance isn't going to cover it. Your insurance on something like that will only cover if the box is lost or destroyed by the post office, not by the buyer. So that's what you got to worry about. Now, in my opinion, I don't really care if eBay accepts the return for me, and I don't really care if eBay refunds the money. You know, as long as it's the right item. I always check every return the minute it comes back in as well. There are time frames that you have to do certain things for returns. Prior to this change, if you didn't refund them within a certain length of time and that buyer complained about it to eBay, they can again leave you negative feedback. eBay will take it from you as well, and that could have dinged your account in the past. Now under managed payments, they're giving us a little bit of a benefit where you don't have to worry about being dung by that with the seller protection wise. So if eBay ends up giving the money back right after 2 days, you forgot, you were busy, you just didn't think about it, it's not going to hurt you anymore, at least with your seller performance. So the bottom end, this starts September 14th, 2020 for all of those in managed payments. It's not a huge change from what we were doing already. If you do free returns, 30 days in the whole works, it's pretty close to what it is now. The biggest change, though, is there won't be any dings to your seller performance if you forget or don't give a refund out within those 48 hours. Now, that's 2 business days. It doesn't count on the weekends. So if the item shows up Saturday, you've got till Tuesday, basically, to take care of it. So it just depends on whether it shows up during the week or during the weekend as to how much time you have to take care of the return. Now, it's not a huge change, too, as I said. If you do a lot of business, it might be a plus for you, so you don't have to worry about accepting and doing all that other stuff. I take returns back anyway, so if eBay wants to accept them and handle it, and I just get the item back in our P.O. box, I'm fine. I don't really care personally. Some of the smaller stores may have an issue with it, but at the end of the day, it is good service, and it's what most people expect. Anyway, that's what I have for you today. Those are the changes you should know about. Again, not huge, but it is there for those of you who are unaware or who don't know or haven't dealt with this sort of thing with returns. Automatic returns will be in place September 14th, 2020 of this year. Well, there you are. Hopefully that gave you some ideas and some thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button down below. You can also hit the bell icon to be notified if I post new content or go live. Subscribe and tell all your friends.
Not everyone wears Zip shoes because they can help you run fast. Not everyone wears Zips for traction. And not everyone wears Zips for an incredible performance. But when all is said and done, it's nice to know that performance is there, just in case you need it.